Coach Levy, as to there's some statistics before we look at the Bears with 19 first downs of the Bills 7. That's a real out of balance statistic. 108 yards rushing for the Bears, 149 yards passing. The Bills rushing yardage 83, most of that gained by Greg Bell, who has well, officially 83 yards total rushing for Buffalo. I have 90 yards just for Bell alone on our statistics that are kept here. The total yardage 266 to 257 for the Bears, 4 turnovers each, but the Bears held the ball for close to 10 minutes longer than the Bills did. Do these statistics mean anything to you, Marv?
Well, they always mean something, but what jumps out, first of all, the 19-7 disparity in first downs. The reason is the Bills haven't, on both their touchdown scores, had to bite off a bunch of first downs. They've had 2 bombs where they got a lot of yardage, and that's why they lead in the passing yardage and have a narrow lead, really, in the overall yardage. Another statistic, which is very meaningful, of course, both teams, 4 turnovers in 1 half. That's quite a bit. And a failed fake punt is the same as a turnover, so that's almost the 5th one in 1 half. I'm impressed that the Bills have. I was talking with you before the game and said you cannot move with consistency and smoothness against this Bear 46 defense. You have to beat them with the bomb, and that's not easy. The Bills have been able to at least do that. They're not stopping the Bears real well, and they've turned the ball over to allow the Bears to do some scoring. But I'm impressed that the Bills have exploited, again, that Ferragamo to Andre Reed connection for a couple of touchdowns against a strong Bears defense. And it's been the Bears' first-team players that are in there, unless there's been an injury that's kept a player out.
We have been doing Bills games now for 3 years, Coach, and one of the problems that the Bills had 3 years ago, they had last year, and they still seem to be having, is the penalty.
Yes.
Again, in this first half, they had 9 penalties called against them, 70 yards total. The number is the thing that's inordinate, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and the number of yards you get doesn't often tell the number of yards you lost, or the number of first downs you lost, and the number of drives you let your opponent sustain because of the penalty. And the penalties are very harmful. Miami, which is always a playoff team and a Super Bowl team frequently, last year being another instance of it, regardless of the reasons, has very few penalties. And this makes a tremendous help. The Bills have jumped off sides 3 or 4 times. There's an approach and a philosophy, Rick, which I think you have to take as far as mistakes are concerned. You constantly hear teams say, not just in football, but every sport, we've got to cut out the mistakes. We've got to cut down the mistakes. I really feel you just shouldn't say that. You've got to say, we have got to not jump offside. We've got to concentrate on not jumping offside until the ball is snapped. In other words, don't concentrate on the broad category of mistake. Concentrate on the specific, what it takes that results in it. Your goal should be to cut down on jumping off sides, and cutting down mistakes will result from that.
Yeah, usually when you hear a player or a coach saying that we got to cut down on our mistakes, you immediately get the idea, well, gee, I ran the wrong pattern, or I blocked the wrong guy, or I did something else. And that really is, that's part of it, of course. But if they just cut down on the penalties, that would be a huge improvement, wouldn't it?
That's right. And again, to cut down on the penalties, I think you have to be specific. We have to cut down on hitting late. We have to cut down on grabbing for face mask. I think that you have to specify. You just tell those players sitting in the room, and I'm not saying that they do. I'm just talking as a coach's philosophy. Can't stand up in front of your opponent and say, we got to cut out the penalties, you guys. Yeah. I think your coaches have to. You got to get with that assistant coach who handles the defensive line. What drills are we using to keep our guys from jumping offside?
Fine tumbling exhibition going on while we have been talking about the Bills and some of their problems, and we're going to be back here at Soldier Field in Chicago in just a moment.
I'm Dan Housley. In this hour's Eyewitness News Brief, they're stepping out on a star at Niagara Square tonight. The event, a fundraiser for the Shays Buffalo Theater. The shuttle astronauts stepped out of Discovery to make a house call to fix up a non-working satellite. While back on Earth, Florida residents are bracing for the worst as they wait and watch Hurricane Elena. And he's forever blowing bubbles. These stories, plus the highlights of the Bills' final preseason game tonight at 11 on Nightcast.
Ready for the second half of tonight's football game. The Bears with a 24-14 lead. We're going to go through very quickly the scoring plays for you with 13 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the first quarter. That's Suey with a 2-yard run. A point successful by Thomas. That gave the Bears a 7-0 lead. Then McMahon, looking to pass, scrambles as he gets away from Don Smith, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown, running 11 yards. Butler was successful with the point after. That's at 6:40, and it was 14-0. Then a 56-yard scoring play. Ferragamo to Andre Reed got the Bills back in the game with 9:05 of the second quarter. And then Walter Payton came back with a 6-yard run, a good move into the end zone. And that made it 21-7 for the Bears after a successful point after by Thomas. And then Ferragamo and Reed hooked up again. This one 40 yards, touchdown, and it was 21-14 with 3 minutes and 41 seconds remaining. And then Butler got a field goal for the Bears, and with 34 seconds left, and that made it 24-14. And that's the way it stands here at halftime as we get ready to go in the second half. And we'll be back in just a moment.
This game is brought to you in part by Genesee. Enjoy the good life with Genesee beer, the great outdoors in a glass.
I'd say it's probably imported from England.
Tastes imported, but it's really America's own. Genesee 12-horse ale.
If I was a European brewer, I'd be in trouble. I'd be really looking out and saying, hey, what can I do? They've got a better product than I have. I'd watch out for 12-horse sales because I've got a real competitor. I haven't had it before, but I've got one now.
Imported taste in an American ale. Genesee 12-horse.
It's a winner. They've got a winner.
Well, the Bills have kicked off, and Taylor returned at 19 yards, and the Bears will put the ball in play at their own 24-yard line. Steve Fuller has gone in at quarterback, and this is a gentleman that Marv Levy knows an awful lot about. We'll get to something about what he has to say about him in just a moment. 1st and 10. Fuller throws it out to the back. That's number 20, Tom Sanders, a rookie free agent from Texas A&M, 5'11", 208-pounder. Ernest Adams, number 97, made the tackle. Tell us about Steve Fuller, Coach.
Well, Steve was the #1 draft choice for us in Kansas City, I believe, in 1978 or 79. Started many games for us. He is a super competitor. He gets better all the time. He's a high-character young man. Came in last year when Jim McMahon was hurt. Brought the Bears to the playoffs. This guy's a great competitor. Had a Rhodes Scholarship offer, but wanted to play professional football instead. Valedictorian of his classes all the way through school.
Sanders gets the call again and gets over the 30 to about the 31-yard line.
Tom Sanders, their #9 draft choice, is fighting for a position. He's a young back who has done some things well, but has made some mistakes. A little bit akin to Kevin Lowe on the Bills. There are a lot of things he does that they like, but he's fumbled a bit or missed some assignments from time to time. Both players have a good chance to make the team. Sanders a low-round draft choice, and Lowe a free agent, and they're battling right here up to the last cut.
3rd down and 2. Fuller calling signals, wants to throw. Tries to avoid a rush and does not, as he is sacked by number 97. Ernest Adams, the starting inside linebacker in place of Eugene Marr.
Steve Fuller has been sacked a lot in his career. Let's take a look at it right now, however. Look at the pressure. Real quick up the middle pressure. Coming from number 72 on the defense, I believe, unless I read his number wrong. I believe I did. Fuller evades him and is brought down. He's been sacked a lot, but he's thrown few interceptions, and he's done a lot of very effective running as well.
Maury Buford, the number 8, back to do the kicking. That's Andre Reed. And he gets stopped after he gets it back just a couple of yards out to about the 32-yard line. A 46-yard punt for Maury Buford, who has won the job here for the Bears. Jay Hilgenberg made the tackle.
Very good high punt by Buford, allowing coverage to get downfield even though it was long, but he's a long 3-step sort of slow punter, which would scare me.
I was just going to say you sound a little dubious about that. Number 14, Frank Reich, is in at quarterback for Buffalo. And I believe that's Van Williams who got the handoff. So both coaches making changes in quarterbacks. Jim McMahon played the whole first half for the Chicago Bears. Vince Ferragamo played the whole first half for Buffalo. Now we see Fuller for the Bears and Frank Reich, the rookie quarterback for Buffalo, as the start of the second half. William Perry is also in, number 72 for the Chicago Bears in their defensive setup. He is the Bears' #1 draft choice. Pass out, incomplete, intended for Ramson, and the official said no, he trapped the ball.
Ramson having a little trouble holding on. The ball was sort of low. Both teams substituting a little bit right now, primarily at skilled positions, although, as you pointed out, William Perry is in there at defensive left tackle, squared off last time with Tim Vogler.
Eric Richardson is in at 1 wide receiver position for Buffalo. Burkett and Teal as we go to the shotgun formation. Right. Throws incomplete. You shook your head a little bit there, Coach. Why?
Well, I was really just watching Vogler team up against Perry right now, and he did a good job. I was just thinking it's going to be a long, hard day. You're going to be bruised. But here, let's take a look at it. Vogler going against Perry, getting jostled around, giving ground grudgingly, but having to give ground. If he has to do that for a long time, he's going to be a weary lad when the evening's over.
Got a little help from Will Grant. John Kidd into punt for the Bills. Deep for the Bears is Ken Taylor. And it bounces, and it is going inside the 10-yard line, down to the 5, to the 4, and it is going to be down there. Great punt by John Kidd, a 56-yarder. Timeout on the field here at Soldier Field. The score, the Bears 24, the Bills 14. Back at Soldier Field, there's an adjustment in the statistics. And I want to tell you that our Bill Casey, who's keeping stats for us here, was right. And the official statistician was wrong. We said we had cribs for 90 yards. And they only had 83 yards up there. And by gum, they changed it to 90. Thank you very much, Bill. Good job. Okay, 1st and 10 for the Bears with the ball back on the 5-yard line. And off. Goes to number 33. That's Calvin Thomas, a 4-year veteran out of Illinois, 5'11", 245, and he didn't get much of anything.
That was an inspirational bit of defense on that down. Great pursuit, gang tackling, Bo Harris in on it. You know, here we'll get a look at the defensive right side here for the Bills. Stymieing the block of the Bears front and then skating to the outside, and watch the convergence here. You see Bruce Smith, you see number 21 in there, Donald Wilson, Bo Harris, all converging. Rick, last week we said if you can punt a team inside the 10 70% of the time, you're going to score on the next possession.
All right, it's 2nd down and 9, gain of a yard for Thomas. Pitch out. Good run by number 20. That's Sanders. Fumbles the ball, and the Bills have recovered. That's Charlie Romes with it. He's bringing it back the other way, and he goes out of bounds as he gets to about the 31, 32-yard line.
Well, there's a Bear player really sandwiched on a block, and he's still down out there around the 42-yard line. 2 Bills came at him, and they hit him high and low on the play, and that fellow is down. And
74, I believe it's Jim Covert.
That would be quite a loss. Here we see the run.
Beautiful run by Sanders.
Yes, it was. And this has been their kick on him, that Sanders, despite doing so many good things, has fumbled. Here you see the ball being hacked out from behind, something you teach. Knocked out by Freeman, number 22. And here you'll see Covert right in the middle of your screen get hit by two people, one low, one high. It might be a clip.
And Rome's running out of bounds.
Covert coming off under his own power, and well, that would be a tremendous loss. He is the youngest captain in the National Football League, captain of the Bears offensive unit. But the Bills now, after punting inside the 10, gain possession in very advantageous field position.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 31-yard line of the Bears. Kevin Lowe in the backfield. Frank Reich throwing, and it is incomplete, intended for Reed. A little too quick on the release, you think, Coach?
I don't think it was too quick on the release, Rick. I just think he threw the ball behind him. I think he threw the ball. It just wasn't a well-directed pass.
Seemed to have plenty of time to throw it. He wasn't under any kind of pressure.
No, it was a 5-yard pattern by the receiver, and on that, the quarterback just takes 3 steps and delivers. It's easy. It hardly ever gets sacked on a call of that nature.
2nd down and 10. Handoff goes to Lowe, and Lowe is going to lose yardage, maybe a yard or 2. Singletary making the tackle.
Well, there was a pulling lineman on the play. Singletary was on a blitz, came right through the area, vacated by that pulling lineman. It was a delay play in the backfield. The defense guessed right, made a big play. So Hank Bulla, the defensive coordinator, just crouches a little lower. That's the typical coach's stance. Bend down, put your hands on your knees, and look intense.
All right, it's 3rd down and 11 now. As Wright goes into a shotgun formation, he's back there alone. The rookie's going to run straight ahead, see if he's going to have room to get the 1st down. He does. He's heading for the end zone and scores, but there is a flag down on the play.
It was man-to-man coverage.
Oh, what a shame.
As a result, the defense ran off with him. It all goes to no avail, however. Looks like it's going to be on the Bills because they're bringing it back. Too bad.
Offensive holding, number 51.
That is called on Jim Richer, number 51, on the left side of your screen.
Let's take a look. Here, well, he's out of the corner of the screen there. He's riding the defender out, and whether he held or not, you couldn't tell from that picture. When there's man-to-man coverage, the defenders, of course, all run off. The receivers were running deep patterns. So here's a good example of it. The receivers go deep. All that man-to-man coverage, they turn their back. They're covering. The result is there's just great amounts of room for a quarterback, once he breaks free from the line of scrimmage, to run.
Quarterback draw is a good play to run there, right?
Yes, it would be. Against man-to-man coverage, it's excellent.
3rd down. And here goes Reich off to the races, but he's going to throw it this time, and he gets it complete. Let's see if he's going to get enough for a 1st down.
Looks like it to me. Reich threw that ball on the run very well. Best looking pass he's thrown.
It was complete to Burkett, and it is just enough for a 1st down. At least it looks that way from here. Yes, we get the signal from the official now saying it's a 1st down. Big play from Frank Reich, the rookie quarterback.
Hard to tell if he was scrambling out of there or if it is what they call a dash pattern. Drop back, draw the rush at you, then run to the outside. Joe Theismann executes that so well.
It's 1st and 10 with the ball at the 20. Reich the throw again, and it is intercepted by number 27, Mike Richardson. Richardson, a good play. Reich, a rookie mistake.
Absolutely. Richardson sat right down on him. He's man-to-man, but he's being backed up by somebody in the zone deeper, so he can play underneath the receiver. Reich again throws it off his back hip, the back hip of the receiver, that is. The result is it goes right to Richardson. There is the one instance. There is an instance where that punt inside the 4 did not result in a score in the next possession. 2 weeks ago in Miami, 3 out of 3. So that's 3 out of 4 total, 75%.
Well, I thought you were going to be right again, Coach. All right, the Bears get the ball back. They're at their own 25-yard line. They lead 24-14 with 8:48 remaining in the third quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Fuller, handoff, Sanders, who coughed up the football on a fumble just a little bit ago, and he's just stepped out of bounds as he got to about the 34-yard line.
Well, he has good running skills, a lot of speed on this youngster out of Texas A&M. You see a fake to the fullback. It's a counter play with Sanders bringing it wide, and you see him turn on the speed there, run away from Freeman, but he is tracked down. The Bills are doing a good job of pursuing on defense tonight.
The ball is out close to the 35-yard line. They've got to get to the 36. He's just a yard short. It's 2nd down and 1. Steve Fuller is at quarterback. And off Sanders. Sanders tries the left side again with some success. Gets up over the 40 to the 42-yard line where Don Wilson made the tackle.
Bears running a lot of counter plays now with Sanders. Very quick-footed young man. You can see him breathing pretty hard right now. He's gotten a lot of work and a lot of exercise after spending the first half on the bench watching.
Calvin Thomas is into the game for Chicago, number 33.
Big 245-pound fullback, only 5'11", carrying that weight. Primarily a blocker, and a good one.
It's another first down for the Bears. Slot formation to the right. Willie Gault is back in the game, number 83. Handoff goes to Sanders again, only this time he is dumped on an excellent play by Ernest Adams of the Buffalo Bills. Ernest Adams getting the start tonight at the right inside linebacker position and has been playing pretty well, coming up with a couple of big plays.
Sanders fighting for a job. Mike Ditka has stated he might go with just 4 running backs. Well, you know, Peyton and Suey are going to be 2 of them. No, not much question that Dennis Gentry would be 1, and then Calvin Thomas. So he's got to show well enough to make Ditka say maybe we better keep 5.
Fake handoff. Fuller fumbles the ball, and it is still loose, and the Bills, I believe, have recovered. No, they say no.
Fuller was sacked by Talley.
Talley was in on the sack and coughed up the ball, did Steve Fuller.
Here we take a look. Fuller faking again, a draw play to Gentry. Talley on a blitz. Knocks it out. There have been so many balls knocked out with a hand. Not that the ball carrier coughed it up, but the ball has been raked out of their hands. Now, why? Oh, that's why.
That is why. He had it and didn't. It was Charlie Romes who looked like he had the ball in his possession as he rolled over, dropped it. It went out of bounds, and the Bears retain possession, but they also have themselves a big loss on the play. It is now 3rd down and 24 yards to go, and the ball is back at their own 28-yard line. Brad Anderson is a wide receiver, number 86, wide to the right as the Bears go into their shotgun formation. Fuller hemmed in, and he gets dumped again back at the 17-yard line. Sean McNanny and Don Smith in on the sack.
Well, that drive didn't go anywhere for the Bears. McNanny doing a good job. Fuller trying to get to the outside. McNanny staved off a block by the offensive tackle and kept him contained.
At the Bear 18.
So they're going to place it at the 18-yard line, and now Maury Buford is coming in to punt for the Bears.
Deep for the Bills.
And deep for the Bills is Andre Reed, who has scored 2 touchdowns tonight. Buford's kick, a wobbly one that bounces at the 45-yard line and then takes a Bills bounce, gets up to about the 47-yard line. So the Bills will get it back. Timeout on the field. The score, Chicago 24, Buffalo 14. Back at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Chicago Bears holding a 10-point lead over the Buffalo Bills with 6 minutes and 18 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Buffalo has gotten the ball back And they will put it in play, 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line.
Well, they've had excellent field position throughout this third quarter, the 9 minutes almost that have been played. They haven't been able to cash in on it. We thought they did. Frank Wright ran in on a beautiful scramble, called back for holding, and got a chance again to take it in.
Frank Wright, who has been a big play quarterback in his college career out of Maryland, was one of 2 third-round draft choices for the Bills this year. He's 6'3", 208 pounds. Vince Ferragamo played the entire first half, threw 2 touchdown passes to Andre Reed to account for all of the Bills' scoring. Eric Richardson comes wide to the left side. Jimmy Teal is in at the other wide receiver position to the right. Reich moving, looking, throws, and it is incomplete. Intended for Richardson, but there were 3 white jerseyed Bears around him.
The Bills staying with their starting offensive line, and that's the only way you get a line a lot of rhythm. I'm sure line coach Jim Ringo says, look, this is going to be our line. Let's let them work. Let's let them work. Let's let them get the feel of working with each other. And so far they've gone almost 3 full quarters, and I don't think I've seen one substitute in there.
In the offensive line. No,
That's
I haven't either yet. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 49-yard line of the Bills. Reich just lost the handle on it and went back and fell on it. Van Williams was over there too, and that will hurt them.
Well, that ball's been on the ground a tremendous amount tonight, not just with turnovers involved, but where turnovers might have and were staved off by good fortune.
So that puts the ball back at the 43-yard line of the Bills, where it'll be 3rd down now and 16 yards to go. The Bills will go into their shotgun formation now, as Burkett is back into the ball game, goes wide to the right. And the Bills use a variety of formations in the shotgun. Ferragamo, or rather Reich, gets tossed out of the pocket, and it almost completed it to Teal. Teal made a dive for it. Looked like he might be able to catch it, and that would have been close to the 1st down, but he could not control it. So the Bills will be forced to punt.
4th and 16, the Buffalo 43.
Looking in the middle of the line, notice the stunning between the Bear linemen. You see Perry driving inside and then looping around him, I believe, is McMichael. Perry, they say, needs to improve his lateral pursuit. They're punting.
Taylor takes it and drops it. The flag is down. I do believe they will call a penalty against the Bills for not giving the receiver enough time to catch the ball.
The receiver must have a free opportunity and free access to the ball. The burden is on the coverage team to allow him to do it, whether or not he signals for a fair catch.
There is a flag on the play.
Well, they're talking it over. Just trying to locate the spot, I guess.
They wanted to get out of the crowd.
That's about where it happened.
All right, here comes the word. No, it isn't. They're going to discuss something else. The referee is Don Dreif.
Here we go. There was not interference there. No interference.
Like he had plenty of room too to catch it.
It was very obvious there was no interference with the attempted catch from that replay.
Coach, you've been in this situation. What's your opinion about the use of electronics in making a decision on a play? Like this is a perfect example.
I'm not in favor of it. I think it takes the spontaneity out of the game, which is basically emotional. I think there'll be some mistakes. I think there are mistakes in every game. Basketball, baseball, swimming. Who broke the tape first in a race? Therefore, I just think let the officials, get good officials, let them make the call.
Well, it looks like they make the right one here because the Bills are jumping up and down and saying, yeah, we got the ball.
Recovered a football. There was a foul on the other team. They'll decline the penalty, and a kicking team will keep the football.
Well, he said that rather emphatically. Thank you very much, Mr. Dre.
The penalty was on the Bears. Something happened that we didn't spot. We thought at first they were calling interference with the opportunity to catch a punt. They did not call it. It didn't occur. I apologize to them, even though they're not tuned in.
All right, the Bills get a big break, and they get the ball at the Bears' 17-yard line with a first down and 10. Frank Reich is the quarterback. He has a slot formation to the left side. Jimmy Teal is in the slot with Eric Richardson far to the left. Ramson in motion. Reich looking. And it is intercepted. Intercepted by number 52. That is Cliff Ripp.
They've read Reich twice. He is looking at the intended receiver. Once they broke to the outside, stepped in front and grabbed it.
The score, the Bears 24, the Bills 14. Let's pause for this message. It's the Bears 24, the Bills 14. Rick Azar with Marv Levy. We have 5 minutes and 8 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Frank Reich has played quarterback for the Bills in this quarter. He has yet to complete a pass, at least to one of the Bills. He's completed 2 of them to the Chicago Bears on interceptions, and they have hurt the Bills. Although we must say for him that he did run in for a touchdown that was brought back because of a holding penalty. So the Bears get the ball back. Steve Fuller, who has had a difficult time for the Bears at quarterback, having been sacked a couple of times and coughed it up on a fumble. He's in control with a 1st and 10 at the 32. Throwing deep, and it is almost intercepted by Rodney Bellinger. Intended out there for number 86. That's Brad Anderson.
Broken up by Bellinger. 2nd and 10. The Bears 32.
Here we see Jay Hilgenberg at center now, and Fred Smerlis, number 76, squaring up. Notice him get those hands out right away, Hilgenberg, which you can do now on pass protection, getting a lot of help on the outside, also from a teammate who grabs Smerlis and pulls him down. But in that crowd,
nobody
who's to know?
That was Andrew Frederick, backup tackle. All right, it's 2nd down and 10. Anderson goes in motion. Pitch out. Comes to Calvin Thomas. Thomas breaks it loose, and Gannett gets shoved out of bounds by Don Wilson. The Bears successful with that run to the right side several times tonight, Coach.
Yes, it's a weak side run, just a toss of the fullback, and you look to get a lane on it. Let's take a look at it from ground level. Motion going the other way, gets the corner out of there. Here's Dennis Gentry leading the play. Not a very big fellow, but you see Steve Freeman, the strong safety, seeking the support. Once they kick Freeman out, there's that running lane. And Calvin Thomas, not known as a runner, primarily doing a good job.
Little face mask in the opposite direction that time. That's allowed. First down for the Bears. They have the ball at the Bills' 48-yard line. Fake handoff. Fuller almost sacked again. Looking. Now he decides to run, and he slides over the 40 to the 38-yard line. Fuller, as I mentioned earlier, gets sacked a lot. He's been sacked. Why is he susceptible to that, Coach?
Two reasons. One, he throws very few interceptions. He won't force the ball. He'll prefer to take the sack. Two, he is a good runner, and as a result, he takes off and runs a lot, succeeds a lot running, but upon occasion is thwarted before he can get going. He evades very well there, Ben Williams. Now he runs into his own man, Keith Van Horn, who gets the idea, throws a block on Bruce Smith. Fuller sees tally and says enough of that.
2nd down in the yard. Thomas flags down. Calvin Thomas carried, but there is a flag down on the play. Thomas is a 4-year veteran out of Illinois, 5'11", but weighs 245 pounds.
Ernest Adams either injured or getting tired, but
get up
on the ground.
Get up. There's not too many people to play that inside line.
Hands on a defense number 76. That's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a first down.
Illegal use of hands
on the Fred Smerlis.
Let's take a look at what he means by illegal use of hands. Well, All right.
face mask.
Yes. Now, I don't. But my question is that a personal foul? If it's a personal foul, it's 15 yards.
Right. They call it illegal use of the hands. It's only 5 yards.
First and 10 for the Bears. Ball in the Bills, 34.
Another penalty for Buffalo, and they've got a ton of them. They're over 10. 11. The ball is at the 34-yard line. Anderson in motion. Pitch out comes to Sanders. Sanders looking for some running room. Gets a pretty good block from Calvin Thomas to pick up an extra yard or two.
I called Sanders a moment ago on a block. Gentry.
Another flag down on the play. And you saw one of the Bears,
Tom,
saying it's against the Bills.
Tom Thayer.
That's a 5-yard penalty and first down.
What was the penalty for, did he say?
In the neutral zone. Lined up in the neutral zone. I don't know whether he said 76 or 77 or who. I didn't catch the number. But it's against the Bills. And that's now 1st and 5. That's 12 penalties against Buffalo. They must somehow get over that. Of course, we've been saying that for a number of years now. 1st and 5. The ball is down to the 29-yard line. Fuller chased again. It gets away this time. Throws it incomplete. Chased over there by Fred Smerlis and Anthony Dickerson and Bruce Smith. And the ball falls incomplete.
Fuller had some running room on the play, but you can't fault the quarterback for throwing the ball if he has an open receiver. He did the right thing there. Fuller's a very good runner, very dangerous. He won a game for us against the then Oakland Raiders with a great 38-yard run late in the game, which was a very big victory for the Chiefs at that time.
Prior to tonight, Fuller had completed 8 of 17 for 158 yards. He now has a 2nd down and 5. Sanders, oh, he's a tough runner. Gets close to the 25-yard line.
He's fighting for a job, and that'll give you a lot of motivation.
Ernest Adams made the tackle.
Here we are right down on the field level with it. Fuller reversing that toss away from the direction of motion. Calvin Thomas leading the blocking. A very fine play by Hazlitt. Even though he doesn't make the tackle, he clogs it up, hurdling over a block.
In case you were wondering, Jim Covert, the offensive tackle who came off the field after taking that block, is back in the ball game. It's 3rd down and about a yard. Right into the middle of the pile.
Fuller carried.
That was Fuller. Let's see if he got the 1st down. Yes, he did.
1st down.
So the Bears continue to pile up the 1st downs here in this game. Although statistically the Bills gained more yardage than the Bears did in the 1st half. There is Jim McMahon, who played the entire 1st half. And Fuller has gone since halftime.
Well, the Bears have been penalized twice, as we saw a moment ago on our screen, and the Buffalo Bills 12 times. Makes a big difference. Again, to keep that from happening, I don't think the approach has to be, oh, penalties happen, or they're just a mistake, or we got bad luck. You have to specify how to get rid of those penalties. I should see another flag, by the way.
Sanders is tackled by Wilson as he crosses the 15, gets down to about the 12, but there is a penalty flag down. We can't tell you how much time there is left here in this quarter because the clock says no time, the official clock. Something wrong up there with the timekeeping. So in case you were wondering how much time.
Illegal motion, number 87 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Emery Moore had illegal motion on the offense. That'll bring that one back. So the Bears get penalized on this one. 24-14 the score. The Bears leading. We're in the 3rd quarter. And the Bears in possession now have the ball at the Buffalo Bill 28-yard line.
At the 28.
The Bears have had tremendous ball possession in this game, Rick, and they're showing it again right now. Ball possession time, I should say.
Anderson goes in motion to the left. Fuller comes to the right, throws it out on a pretty play to Calvin Thomas, who bulls his way to the 10-yard line. I mean, he bulled his way to the 10.
They've run a counter quite a bit tonight. That was a counter bootleg, and let's see what I mean by it as we look it over. Fuller will reverse out, fake that counter inside, and he attacks the flank beautifully. This is his forte, this type of play. Thomas looked like he was going to block, slipped past the outside linebacker, was wide open in the flat, and runs like a fullback should run.
Well, now the official time says 1:10, but we're not really quite sure if that is correct or not. What is correct is that the Bears have the ball inside the Bills' 10-yard line. And that's Rodney Bellinger being aided off the field.
Well, there's Rodney Bellinger, the 5'8" chap out there playing corner, who's a tough hitter. But Calvin Thomas with a head of steam at 245.
A mismatch.
Yes.
That is a definite mismatch. It's a first down for the Bears and goal to go for another score. They lead by 10. Steve Fuller calling signal. Handoff goes to Thomas straight up the middle, and he bulls his way inside the 5-yard line.
Well, I said earlier Thomas is primarily a blocker, but he's certainly getting his opportunities carrying the ball tonight.
Schmerlis and Ben Williams made the tackle, so it'll be second down and goal. Thomas comes off the field, and we still have 19 seconds on the 1 clock, and but the gun has sounded, so that's the end of the third quarter. The score: the Chicago Bears 24, the Buffalo Bills 14. Fourth quarter action in a moment. Are with Marv Levy back at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears have the ball at the Bills' 4-yard line. The Bills had ample opportunity to score here in this third quarter. Marv, they did not. Frank Reich coming up with a couple of interceptions, and I'd like to ask you why you think Coach K. Stevenson has seen fit to go with the rookie quarterback.
Well, he's seen Dufek a great deal during the season. He'd like to see what the young man can do. He's been in camp long enough now to do it, and we still don't know what his fourth quarter plans are.
Steve Fuller, handoff, goes to Sanders. Sanders heads to the end zone and moves the ball over, and let's see if the official is going to say he was in. Looked to me as though his knee was down before he got in there, and that's what they're going to say. Short of the goal line.
Here we take a look at it. Sanders hitting very hard and fast over the left side. Fuller bringing the ball back to him deep. He's hit definitely on the ground, even though he lunges to break the plane of the goal line.
So it's third down now and a yard. The Bills with McNanny and Don Smith and Schmerlis and Williams in the front line. Handoff. Thomas crashes through. Oh, he runs with a lot of power, Coach.
Yes, he does. He had a half-yard to go. It's been a long time since I've seen teams use the straight dive play. The Bears have used it twice in the goal line, scoring in the first quarter with Suey, and now straight ahead, dive play. A lot of power. The thing is, you can't block the middle linebacker on that. Everybody else is used up. That little linebacker ought to be able to stop it, but he didn't.
All right, it's going to be Kevin Butler, number 6. There you see Thomas.
Really, the straight dive without a lead blocker is sort of an antiquated goal line play, but you wouldn't know it from the success the Bears are having with it tonight on the goal line.
Works for the Bears. Here's Butler's try for the extra point, and it is perfect. So we have 14 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in this game, and the score now moves to the Chicago Bears 31 and the Buffalo Bills 14. We're going to pause for this message. The numbers on the Bears scoring drive: 10 plays, 68 yards, time of possession 5 minutes and 58 seconds, capped off by a 1-yard run by Calvin Thomas. Bob Thomas is now going in there to do the kicking off chores for the Bears, and somebody in the National Football League, coach, who needs a kicker is going to get one, because either Bob Thomas or Kevin Butler will be gone come cut-down time this coming week.
They will, and there have been a few trades made for kickers lately. Tony Zendejas went from the Redskins to the Oilers, and Maury Buford, who's playing tonight, came to the Bears from San Diego. But usually, late in training camp, teams don't trade for kickers. They figure, who's got two good ones? He's going to get cut, and where am I on the waiver list? If I'm low on the waiver list, meaning a lot of people choose ahead of me, I might make a trade and send you a 10th round draft choice for the fellow.
But somebody's going to get a good one here. Okay, here comes Thomas's kick. And that goes to Lowe, right at the goal line. Lowe with a good move and a flag down again. As Lowe gets out over the 35, close to the 40-yard line, but I think they're going to bring that one back. Away. Reggie Phillips making the tackle.
The penalties which you incur on a kickoff return are so devastating because
40 yards.
you lose big
Illegal
yardage.
block by the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the foul.
Well, the foul is spotted at about the 23-yard line. That's going to bring the ball back to the 13 instead of being out close to the 40.
All right, so that's right. So it's 25 yards lost, but here's how it's compounded. The other team has just scored. Now, okay, we're finally going to get the ball. We're going to get ready to go, and you wind up deep in your own territory. Watch the block here if we can catch it here. Illegal block, number 48, blocking from behind, above the waist, Lawrence Johnson in that particular instance.
Well, they spotted the ball at the 15. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bills there, and it's Joe Dufek in at quarterback. Dufek hands off to Van Williams. Williams breaks it through and gets up over the 25. And let's see where they're going to spot it at about the 27-yard line. Good run by Van Williams, who's seeing his first action tonight, although I think he got into one play earlier.
Here we see it from the end zone. Draw play. Van Williams slides over. Note Will Grant. Stalk number 54. Brian Cabral, the middle linebacker. Good sharp tackle finally, but a good gain.
Just over the 27-yard line. It's another first down for the Bills. Dufek just didn't even get a chance to straighten up.
That was William Perry, number 1 draft choice, who gets in on the sack, but there was a foul up in the ball handling in the backfield. Not that the ball is going to be exchanged, but just the fake. Okay, let's take a look at William Perry. Lined up here on the nose against Will Grant, number 53, slanting to his own right. But the action, Dufek standing right there behind the left guard, number 68, Chris Babyar, who was trying to help on Perry.
Babyar, the rookie out of Illinois, 6'4", 264 pounds. 2nd down and 17. Handoff goes to Williams. Williams gets stuffed as he gains maybe a yard. McMichael making the tackle. Steve McMichael.
Bears defensive line getting great takeoff. You have to begin to stagger your starting counter, stagger your voice inflection, so that that defensive line isn't the one benefiting from the rhythm.
Number 23 is Sean Gale, 2nd-year man out of Ohio State, 5'11", 193-pounder. Ian Fensick in the defensive backfield for the Chicago Bears at this moment. The Bears leading 31-14 with 12:15 remaining in the game. Bills go into their shotgun formation. Dufek calling signals. Being chased by Singletary, and it is almost intercepted. Fensick was just waiting for it to come into his arms, but Jimmy Teal got in the way.
Everybody was spread. Everyone, now watch number 50, Mike Singletary here. Number 76 on the nose, uses up the center's block. There's a man on the center, a man on both guards. Singletary blitzes. All the receivers were spread wide. Who's going to block him? As a result, Dufek got out of there and tried to deliver the ball, but there's a lot of one-on-one coverage going on when that happens.
Ron Kidd, who's had a good night punting the ball, gets another good one away. Fair catch called for by number 31, Taylor. And somebody had to get out of the way there for the Buffalo Bills. Let's see if we can pick up his number. Is Rod Hill.
43 yards. The
43-yard punt for Kidd. There's timeout on the field here at Soldier Field. The score, the Bears 31, the Bills 14. Back at Soldier Field with 11:51 remaining in the game, the Bears leading 31-14, and the Bears have the ball back at their own 34-yard line. And they will have a 1st and 10 situation with the backfield, Steve Fuller at quarterback, and Tom Sanders and Calvin Thomas, the running backs. And they have done a very, very good job running the ball for the Bears here in the second half of this game. Walter Payton and Matt Suey did the job in the first half. There you see the time of possession. Marv, you alluded to that. Very, very heavy in favor of the Chicago Bears.
Better than 2-1.
Fuller completes it to number 82, Ken Marjoram. And Marjoram gets close to the first down.
Well, I've liked what I've seen of Ken Marjoram tonight. I saw him before he was injured 2 years ago. Was very impressed by him. Right now, to me, he looks like the best of the Bear receivers on the field.
Jim Haslett and Ernest Adams in on the tackle.
Saw Fuller a moment ago looking over the sidelines. The Bears coaching staff flashing plays in with an intricate signal system, which most teams have gone to rather than running players into the game with plays.
Dennis Gentry is in the game now, replacing Sanders for Chicago at running back. And he gets the ball, cuts back nicely, finds a big hole, and gets over the 50 to about the 45-yard line, where he is finally stopped. Jim Haslett in on the tackle.
Haslett has gone a great deal of the time, perhaps all the way. These Bear running backs, they all have the feel for this running game. They really work on honing the running game because of Walter Payton, and all of the backs profit from it. They have to have some ability, no question, and they do, but they still do profit from the approach.
First down for Chicago. The ball is now at the 45-yard line of the Bills as Marjoram goes wide to the right side. He has a slot in Anderson, but the pitch out comes back to Gentry, and Gentry gets back to the line of scrimmage and may have gained a yard.
Don Smith made a fine play there. Number 74, you see right there in your screen. Smith has looked good tonight. He's playing nose, a position which isn't totally strange to him, but where he hasn't played for quite some time.
You feel the way the Bills' alignment looks on their defensive line that they'll play a lot of 4-down linemen this year?
Yes, I do. Maybe not a whole lot on first down, but they'll go to it very quickly. I think they'll play 4 down. I think they have the type of player who can help them do it, and if their linebacking situation remains as dire as it is, they're going to need to do it more.
Second down. Fuller to throw. Does, and let's see if it is caught. One official just waved timeout, and the other official said no, he was out of bounds and called it incomplete.
Well, let's see for ourselves here. Fuller looking down the middle first, didn't like what he sees, puts the ball outside. Brad Anderson,
1 foot.
foot down. Well, the official's right there.
I think he was. It doesn't look as though he got that right foot down on the green part soon enough. Marjoram. Ken Marjoram, a 4-year veteran from Stanford. Didn't play at all last year. It's 3rd down and 8. Shotgun formation for Chicago. Fuller looking for room, pointing downfield, has a man open, and it is complete. Complete to Brad Anderson at the 3-yard line.
Zone defense. Fuller doesn't like what he sees in his zone because he's not going to throw many interceptions, I'll tell you, although he's taking a risk here, but he would deep in the territory. He can throw on the run extremely well. Here we take a look just over the outstretched fingertips there of, was that Rod Hill, 25?
Yes.
Just over his outstretched fingertips, lays it in there beautifully.
So the Bears are right there at the doorstep again. They already lead in this game, 31-14. As the Bills are now starting to get a lathering. Stopped. Gentry didn't get in. Bruce Smith made the tackle. Gentry looked to go over the top and was stopped just as he was sailing over by Bruce Smith, knocked him straight down. So he's about a yard short.
Here we are at goal line level. Notice how low the defensive line is, seeking to get penetration. Here's Gentry launching himself. Somebody grabs him just as he's about 6 inches off the ground, and Bruce Smith pulling him back. See if they run that dive play. They've been running it out of this split backfield on the goal line.
He's got Gentry and Thomas. Thomas gets it again. No problem.
Straight handoff.
No problem at all. And the Bears are pounding the Bills now. It's 37-14.
Again, Fuller will reverse pivot, try to get the middle linebacker to go away from where he's going to hand the ball. That's the idea. Is it deep in the backfield, and Thomas, using his bulk, gets far enough so far as the Bears are concerned.
Bob Thomas will attempt the extra point, trying to make it 38-14. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Bears have moved smartly out in front. Timeout on the field. The score, Chicago 38, Buffalo 14. Rick Azar with Marv Levy. 7 minutes, 50 seconds remain here at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears have stepped smartly out in front of the Bills. 38-14. They led 24-14 at halftime.
66 yards.
And the Bears are doing to the Bills this year what they did to them last year. The final in that game was 38-7. So the only improvement so far from last year to this is that the Bills have scored one more touchdown. But we still have 7 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Well, the Bears have engineered, under Steve Fuller's direction, 2 very good drives here in the third quarter, now early in the fourth. Their running backs, even when Walter Payton is out of there, they show some good talent among those running backs. And I think maybe there's a gap between them and what the Bills have, and once Greg Bell comes out of the game.
Kickoff goes deep into the end zone to Lowe, and he wasn't going to bring it out, then decided to do it, and now he's going to get dumped at the 5-yard line. Pure rookie mistake there, Coach.
That's right. I was just thinking that. Rookie, that's a rookie act. Take 3 steps, get a foot out, start to change your mind. It's too late. Compound your mistake, but it's a rookie that's trying hard, wants to do the right thing, and you should know ahead of time. I got the ball in the end zone. I'm not coming out. You don't make your decision when you catch it after you caught it. Now, other man back there with him too should be saying either stay in, or go, depending on how close.